So the first topic is, well, first of all, let's introduce ourselves. So I'm Elevated Ike, you guys already know. And this is my friend Zack, who you've heard about before if you've been with me for a long time. So just introduce yourself for anybody who doesn't know who you are already.
Oh, side note, someone texted me that you sound like a robot. Because I guess your mic's like, I don't know, make sure it's plugged in all the way. But I'm Zack. I'm the owner of Ineffable, also known as ICC or ICC Streetwear. And I also run on streetwearplug.com and the Streetwear Plug social media channels.
Can you tell them how old you are? Just like to inspire anybody who also wants to run their own brand.
I'm 17.
So, all right, so we picked up a few topics to talk about. So the first topic is what or who are you currently listening to? Because music is definitely a big influence in the fashion scene. So right now, I'm probably only listening to Tame Impala. If you guys ever heard of that, have you ever heard of them?
No.
It's like some really chill stuff. Bro, where's Rosie? I was trying to get him on, but it's not working for him. Let's try again though. Rosie's having some technical difficulties too.
Yeah, check your mic when you get a chance. It's like super crackly.
All right, hold up. Does it sound the same?
Talk a little more.
How does it sound now? Blah, blah, blah.
Sounds kind of the same. Might be a little better.
All right. We got 10 years. So what are your thoughts on fast fashion? So just companies like H&M and Zara, do you think that's hurting the fashion industry?
I mean, they're operating more from like a business perspective than like a good for the fashion industry perspective. From like, as a small brand owner, I kind of like, it affects me because obviously they're producing pieces at much higher quantities, so it gets their costs way down, and therefore their retail prices can be super low. And since they don't wholesale, they kind of produce like in-house. They can pretty much undercut everybody. So from a small brand's perspective, you always have people that expect you to get to that same price point, which just isn't really realistic. Because if I'm producing, 30, 40 pieces of a certain style and they're producing 30, 40,000 of a certain style, of course their, price per unit is going to be a ton lower from their manufacturer than mine.
Do you think their prices are competitive with other brands?
I mean, I think they're competitive, like in their little circle of whatever, H&M, ASOS, some of the lower end Topshop stuff like that. But I think outside of that, it's like a whole different, I mean, that's like its own little bubble, I feel like. I don't really mind wearing it as long as it's just like a t-shirt or something. Why not pay, $5 for a t-shirt instead of whatever, $20, $30 for a t-shirt? I don't think that's that big of a deal, but you won't like catch me in the like wannabe Kanye H&M stuff,
But some of for Zara, some of the items are priced upwards of like $50 to $100. So you think the quality is still there with that type of price point or no?
I don't really think Zara has good quality stuff. I think I owned like a piece from Zara a couple, like 2 years ago. I think the reason they make their prices higher is just so people like assume that it's higher quality. I don't think it necessarily is. I think they still put out like a lot of pleather stuff, and additionally, most of their designs aren't unique, so I'll never really be one to support a company that's just, ripping designs and putting their label on it.
But I kind of think that it's a good option for people who are younger and don't really have money to spend on like more expensive pieces. What do you think about that?
I mean, yeah, it's like tough affording a lot of this stuff that's considered like cool nowadays, but I think with things like eBay or Grailed, a lot of Facebook groups, like it is possible to get used pieces for way under retail. And it's another thing is like how I've been looking at clothes. that I like that tend to be expensive. Like I look at it kind of like an investment. A lot of the pieces hold their value. So it's kind of like when you buy anything that's worth a lot of money, uh, it doesn't even have to be like a designer piece. If it's Supreme, let's say, throw that out there. Even spending like 148 on a hoodie plus tax plus shipping or whatever, that's a lot of money, even though that's retail. But that hoodie may go on to be worth a lot more than retail. Or if it's not one of those hype pieces, you can still get, $100 for it after you wear it a million times. So you kind of look at it like an investment. And additionally, you can like trade your pieces and stuff like that. So I don't know. I feel like there's ways to do it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's pretty good to like make some conscious decisions on your purchases as far as buying things that retain value, because it definitely kind of sucks that you buy, like when you're younger, you buy all these clothes, all these graphic t-shirts, and then by the time you're like 20 or 18, 19, you can't wear them anymore. You can't really sell them. So like, what are you going to do with that? Well, the best option is probably just to donate them to like a charity or something.
Yeah, if I have clothes that aren't really worth much money, I always donate them to charity. Like they can still be nice things. I'm not saying they're like not nice things, but if I have like any basics or whatever that are still in great condition, or shoes that are still in good condition that I can't necessarily get, a ton of money for, I always, wash them and then donate them. That's always a good way to go. I remember like, I think it was on Christmas actually, a school in Newark did like a clothing and toy drive. So I showed up with like some of my brand's older pieces that I had like laying around brand new and packaging and stuff like that. It's always like a good thing to do, and it feels really good.
But so Grailed is probably like the main option to buy more of the high end stuff for the low, right?
Yeah, I love Grailed because like you can just lowball like 100 people, and chances are like one of them's gonna bite. So that's kind of my strategy with it. I don't know. You can always catch stuff on eBay. Facebook groups are clutch, and then like if you're buying a lot of pieces, like you're gonna meet people that constantly have stuff for sale that are your size or whatever. So then they might, throw you a steal here and there. Or you can trade or whatever. It's always fun. I don't know. It's like a whole game.
What do you think about the resale business? Because people on Grail, they do sell for lower prices, but there's always people who want us to make a come up. And that's like really the topic of today. Like people don't like resellers, or they do like resellers because it's just like a small hustle.
I mean, I don't know. There's like, I don't really know how to put it. I respect all resellers, as long as they're not like 40 years old with a family, which there are a lot of like in New York. And the only reason I'm saying that is because it's not really a stable source of income. And if you have to look out for your family and stuff, I don't know what's gonna happen when, Jordans don't resell anymore or whatever. But I don't know. I used to resell a ton, so I'm kind of like biased, I guess. Like people always hate on resellers, and I'm always the one to like defend them. But without resellers, there wouldn't really be like this whole, there wouldn't be hype pieces or hype shoes really, because the only thing that drives that is the secondary market, and the brands are fully aware of that, and they acknowledge it, and they like it. I mean, if you go on Twitter, sometimes you see Wex, who's I forget his actual title, but he's pretty much in charge of like all the celebrity collaborations that Adidas does. So with Yeezys and stuff like that. And sometimes you'll see him tweet out a link to like a Campless article or something that talks about how much the Yeezys are selling for in the secondary market, and he's like bragging about it. I mean, companies are fully aware of it, and they could easily, get rid of the secondary market, but they choose not to, and they choose to create it with certain shoes.
Do you think companies like make limited releases on purpose just for that specific reason, to get the hype up and get their names out there?
Yeah, of course.
Like, I don't know,
And like,
does it really make them more money, or what?
yeah, because like, think about it. Limited releases help. I'm thinking about sneakers specifically. Limited releases help companies sell more of their inline products, more of their stuff that are just like generics that go to every single tier account. So if you think of Adidas with, Yeezys, it's damn near impossible to get. So then when they put out other shoes with Boost technology and a somewhat similar look, then those are going to sell really well. I mean, the Adidas Ultra Boost is doing numbers, not just the limited colorways, but I mean, there really isn't a limited colorway. If you think of the creams, they were going for, $300 to $400, and now nearly every Foot Locker, every Champs, and a bunch of Finish Lines get them in store, and they're still selling out. That's a shoe that's a general release numbers wise. Or if you think of like the new Adidas tubular Dooms that dropped worldwide yesterday, they're all black tubular Dooms with a strap on the front, similar to like the Yeezy 750s, and those sold out instantly. And that's a shoe where without Yeezys, I highly doubt they'd sell out, especially instantly like they did.
So why do people still attempt to resell them? Like if a shoe is a general release, then what is the point of still trying?
Because if the shoe sells out, there's always going to be a secondary market. There's always going to be someone that couldn't buy it. And additionally, like a lot of people that buy from resellers regularly, just they don't want to go out and have to camp. They see it more of like they're paying for a service. Oh, I can get a shoe delivered to my door. I don't have to, try to get a bot, or I don't have to camp out or whatever, go do raffle tickets. I mean, you have to jump through a lot of hoops now to get a sneaker or a Supreme release or a Palace release or whatever it is.
So do you think it's a good idea to get a friend on the inside and help you out with all those releases? I think it would be cool.
I mean, always, but it's like you gain connections over time, and it's just like a whole game. I don't really know how to put it, but I feel like if you're in middle school or high school, and it's like that's a really good route to go if you think about it. I mean, chances if you do it right, you're gonna make way more money than working a minimum wage job at like your local pizzeria or whatever, or like cleaning windows,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you can hate on it. Support your local reseller. No, I always try to help people get stuff for retail, but like my followers know, like with the Cream Ultra Boost, I put them up for, I think it was $230 shipped. So after shipping fees or whatever, I'm getting, I don't know, $2 to $210. Retail is $180 plus tax. So sure, you can call me a reseller or whatever, but people were really grateful because, that price is still under market, and those shoes dropped only in store. So luckily I was able to grab a bunch. I was able to help people out. So, I mean, there's like friendly resellers.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'd consider myself one. Then there's some that like everybody, including myself, is jealous of, but you can't really knock them.
So do you think reselling contributed to like helping build basically like the capital that you needed to run your own brand?
It's kind of like a fun fact. The money that originally funded my brand, it definitely helped like down the line, but the first set of shirts was funded because I was in middle school and I lied about my age to some company that threw like high school parties. So I'd promote these parties and I'd go pick up cash, and that's what originally funded my brand. It was a bunch of high schoolers going to this random party, saying my name at the door, and I got like a couple bucks for everyone that did it. And I was like really good with the Facebook events and stuff like that. So that's what initially funded my brand. But reselling has definitely helped me grow it. But I try not to resell as much anymore, just because like if I'm reselling something, chances are it's because like I'm getting ready to put a new collection into production, or something like that.
So a lot of new brands are definitely trying to start up, like basically with the dad cap scene going on. So how do you think, or what do you think makes a brand more unique from another brand?
I mean, it's really like rare to find a brand that stands out now. I think I tweeted last weekend, I was looking for small brands for a feature called Small Brand Sundays, and I got probably like 50 emails. And a lot of the brands were putting out very, very, very similar products, in the sense where they'd have kind of like a sad boy kind of like saying or caption on a t-shirt, or something on a dad cap, whether it's their logo or some saying or whatever. I don't know, it's really boring, and it's just, with the internet, you can start a brand in 15 minutes if you want. You can make a big cartel. You can go on whatever, custom ink, screenshot it, do a little pre-order. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's so saturated right now. Everybody and their mother has a brand. So it's not that hard to stand out. You just have to do something different, and nobody is. It's definitely harder to do something different because a lot of people don't have the resources. Like even if they can design a piece or come up with the idea in their head, a lot of them don't know how to go about manufacturing it. But people like nowadays, I feel like really expect information to be like handed to them. Like there's people all the time that say, "Yo, can you swing me your manufacturer's contacts?" and stuff like that. And
But I
people
don't
don't
think people
realize you really
understand.
have to like do research and work at that.
I don't think a lot of people understand. Like once you get to that level where you need a manufacturer, you need money to, like you have to buy. Like you were telling me earlier, you have to buy like hundreds of pieces before they even talk to you, right?
I mean, it really depends. I was talking about like denim specifically. Denim's super duper hard to get like a low minimum order, and chances are if a factory's taking a really low minimum order like from you, they're charging you way more than they charge anyone that meets their like official minimum order quantity. But like a lot of small brand owners, I mean, I remember when I first manufactured overseas, I'm sure I got ripped off because you're just not aware of like production costs. You have nothing to compare it to. And over time, you can compare quotes from different factories, and you've made a lot of comparable pieces. So then it's easier. But when you're first, like, always be careful because you'll always find someone that's like down to be a middleman for you, and be oh, I'll get my manufacturer to make your pieces, but I don't want to give you their contact. And it's like
Wow.
chances are those people are really taking advantage of you because they know how much it really costs to produce your piece, and they can tell you a price that still sounds good in your eyes, but in reality, you could be getting it for a lot lower if you were direct with the factory.
Somebody just asked where do you find manufacturers. So how do you do the research for that?
Um, wow. No, it's
That's a
like,
good question.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd try your best, like, not to go ask your friends that have brands and like, Instagram DM people and stuff like that, because a lot of people get mad and they'll kind of like burn a bridge. Um, as funny as it sounds, LinkedIn is a great place. Like, if you make update your LinkedIn profile and stuff like that, and do some searching for whatever apparel manufacturing stuff like that, you'll find company profiles on there, and you can contact them, have them like email you. Just be really careful because especially when you're working overseas, um, a lot of factories aren't going to take PayPal because PayPal might not even be like allowed in their country. So if you're doing, bank transfers or whatever, you're not protected at all. So, I mean, a lot of people get scammed off the bat. I know a ton of people that, are talking to someone that might not even have a real factory. They bank wire or they wire transfer the money to them, and then they never hear back. And they
That
live,
sucks.
on the other side of the world. It sucks, but it's like everything's a learning experience. Do a lot of Googling, just a ton of research. I read a book. I forget what it's called, but it's Mark Echo's book. He put out like 2-3 years ago, and that definitely inspired me just to really hunt and sample with a ton of different manufacturers. Don't accept like the first factory you meet. I lost a ton of money when I first started manufacturing overseas, just because it really was like a trial and error process. But if you're willing to go through that, you're gonna succeed if you just like keep going at it.
But it seems like there's like this type of competition going on with brand owners. Like they don't want to tell you what they're doing or where they get their stuff made. And that, like you mentioned, somebody could get scammed. So why wouldn't you help a friend out by warning them, like, don't go to this person or check out over here?
I mean, there's no way. There's so many factories in the world. There's no way of knowing really like what's legit unless you've dealt with them personally. Like uh, I don't think anyone that's like genuinely close to me has asked for my manufacturer, but like there are a lot of people that just like hit me up on Facebook that I've never talked to or seen before. Just kind of expecting a handout, and something like that kind of like ticks me off. Like if we have a relationship where you're gonna help me in some way and I'm gonna help you, like of course we can work that out. Um, but it's like you said, there's so many small brands now doing the same things. It's like if I'm giving out my manufacturer to everyone, then I feel like there's going to be duplicates of my pieces, or you get scared about things like that. It's like it's very cutthroat. Like the fashion industry in general, I feel like it's super duper cutthroat, and like I feel like even like small brand owners that like our friends still like feel pressure to do better than one another.
So somebody just asked, how do you pitch a design?
Say that one more time.
How do you pitch a design to a manufacturer? Is it always through email or Skype or what?
So you obviously do a mock-up, and then depending on your manufacturer, you can either do like a traditional tech pack, which you can Google it. I'm sure you can find like a template, but that'll take some like Googling and you'll figure out how to do it. But a tech pack pretty much is just super in detail about almost every single stitch, every single detail, stuff like that. Or, you know, you can work something out where you can send them material samples if you're having them source materials for you, or if you're sourcing the materials, you have to send those over. And you just sample. So like with me, I can send over a mock-up in a tech pack through email, and then I can get pictures of a sample. I can have them send the physical sample. And then of course you have to do like your size charts, and then they make the patterns, you know, based off that. And yeah, you can Skype with them, I guess. I've done it only a couple times. But it's really, I feel like Skype would actually help. It's really important to have like good communication with your manufacturer. Say it again.
So would you, for the tech pack, would you hire like a designer to make it? Because I know like they get like kind of interesting. You have to make an image of the piece and then put descriptions of each part of it, right?
Yeah. I feel like with tech packs, it takes some time, but you can definitely teach yourself. There's no reason you can't. You don't have to take a class or anything. It's all on the internet. I'm sure there's YouTube videos. I kind of learned through Google. And actually, I didn't even know what a tech pack was until I think it must have been like 2 years ago. I had a meeting with some guy. I don't remember his name. But he had some connection to some factory in India. And he just like asked me, he was like, so do you do your own tech packs? And I was like, I didn't even know what a tech pack was at the time. I like just started making clothes. And I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, well, I'll send you over, you know, a template that I use. So like he sent me over this template, and I just like taught myself how to do tech packs. Yeah, I don't really think you have to hire anyone for that.
So do you think, like, I remember last year, a lot of the pieces that were coming out were more elongated or oversized fits. So you think fashion is starting to go backwards to more normal cuts?
I mean, like trends will always go back and forth. I don't know, like it's really weird because you see a lot of oversized stuff. I mean, if you think of the way like Kanye West dressed, you know, he's still very, very oversized. And of course he's gonna have his followers. But oversized is comfortable. I mean, I love wearing oversized shirts. Not necessarily elongated, but I might go a size up on a shirt just to get like a little bit of a larger fit. But then at the same time, you see now like a lot of cropped hoodies on men. More boxy fit t-shirts, so they're wider but they're shorter.
So V-long hoodies are cropped, right?
Say it again.
V-long hoodies, they're cropped, right?
It would fit cropped, like if you went a size down. It's really the V-long hoodies, like the original ones. Like you know the bottom band of a hoodie.
Yeah, they cut it off.
Yeah, it's just cut off. So I mean, I guess it takes off whatever 4 inches. This small brand I really like, honorable mention.
Oh, yeah, they're good.
Yeah, their alignment hoodie. If you go on their website, their alignment hoodies cropped, and it fits really good. Gosha put out cropped. Their logo hoodies cropped. Yeah, people have been doing it, and I've seen like a lot of boxy fit shirts too.
But usually when people hear like a cropped shirt or a cropped hoodie, they think of women's. So you think fashion is becoming more androgynous?
Yeah, I think it's getting like more acceptable to like as a guy wearing pieces that might be like styled originally for women. Like if you think of Venoments got super duper hype as a result of guys wearing it, but at the time they didn't even have a men's line. Their men's collection came out last month. I'm pretty sure last month. Up until then, all the hoodies that men were wearing were made for women. That's why they're so goddamn long, so women didn't have to wear anything else.
Somebody just asked a question. He said, you keep saying that all these small brands are doing the same stuff, but your stuff is pretty similar to everything on the market. How would you respond to that?
No, I agree 100%. That's one of the reasons, if you've checked, like, I don't know if you have on my brand's Instagram, I haven't posted in a while. The collection I'm working on right now, I was actually talking to Ikenna about it before we went live. I think it's a really standout collection. For an example, about half of the materials are completely custom. They're not just materials you can source. They're very specific to my requirements. And I was telling him also, like, with the last collection, a lot of the pieces came out kind of differently than I originally designed them or wanted them to come out. And I, in the past, a lot have kind of just been accepting, like, oh, it's okay. It's the best that my manufacturer can do. And I end up putting it out and then later kind of regretting it and wishing I spent more time on a piece. Like, for an example, if you hop on the website, you can see the fishtail coach's jacket from last season. There's an eye and embroidery on the chest. That eye was actually supposed to be like a felt varsity patch that you would get on like a varsity jacket at your high school or whatever. But there were issues sourcing those, and then I just was accepting, oh, we'll just do embroidery instead. There's stuff like that. The last collection was super duper simple, and I agree that there's a ton of comparable stuff on the market. I think if you look at some of my older pieces when I was into more graphic stuff, like I don't, it's not really my style anymore, but if you think of like this hoodie or something like that, that was very kind of ahead of the curve in a sense, to the point where, you know, that got copied by Hudson and a few others. There are a few pieces that I think are more, you know, original or unique. But yeah, I think the next collection, that definitely changes, and I agree, and I appreciate the comment.
But as a small brand, I think it's kind of like you have to accept that you're going to be limited to some of the things that you can do at that level, right?
Yeah, but it's tough accepting it, and I don't know. Sometimes I wish I didn't accept it, because I feel like anything's possible. You might have to spend a lot more time on it, and you might have to put a piece off for a little while. But I wish with some of my designs, instead of kind of accepting using a lower tier fabric or whatever it is, kind of taking a shortcut, I wish I just put it to the side on the back burner and said, all right, you know, when I get to a factory that's capable of producing this, then I'm going to, you know, get that design and make it. That's why, like, I haven't put out my denim pieces yet, because I can work with a denim factory that doesn't have the quality I want necessarily and reach their minimum order right now. But the factory that I've been sampling with that has a really high minimum order quantity did an amazing job with the samples. So I'm not going to put out my denim collection until I can meet those minimum order quantities, you know?
So your fashion design. Yeah. You guys have any questions about this topic, about small brands? I think progression is definitely a key factor for brands, because like if you come off so hard, like become crazy, it's not going to be like you don't really have a story behind your brand. Don't you think?
I mean, like, one thing you see a lot today, I feel like, is like you see a brand get super duper hype, like a small brand. But then they can't, like, then they're kind of setting the standard for their designs and the pieces they put out or the collections or whatever, and then they can't exceed it the next time. And people are expecting them to constantly step up, but then they can't put out a piece that's, you know, to the same level. It's like a one-hit wonder rapper. There's a lot of one-hit wonder brands. I mean, if you think of like, I'm not throwing shots or anything. It's just a good example, like with Gianni Mora, for an example, you know. You can argue whether or not his design was good. Regardless, it got super duper hype. Whether it was a result of the design itself or Ian doesn't really matter. You know, my point is you don't see him putting out clothes anymore. Or I don't know if you guys are familiar with Max Sheridan. His brand was called Melange Clothing, I believe. There was a period of time where he put out several really, really nice pieces. I mean, for his age, it was like unbelievable what he was doing. But whatever it was, he ran out of ideas or something. You don't see him putting out pieces anymore. And that's someone that was unbelievably talented and got a lot of recognition, not because of a big cosign. So, yeah.
Somebody asked what's a good number of items to start out with for a small brand.
I mean, definitely like I mean, I can only speak from a small brand's perspective. I'd always try to just go out of pocket. Don't like borrow money from people or get a loan or anything like that. If you have to do that, chances are your collection is too big or whatever you're putting out. I think now it's kind of cool to put out like a couple pieces at a time instead of just like one t-shirt. Like you can do a small little collection. You can do whatever, one t-shirt, 2 colors, one hoodie, 2 colors, one hat, 2 colors, something like that. But test your market. I mean, like my first 2 designs I put out were just t-shirts with 1 color, and that was all. And then I think I did like a pair of socks actually. And then I did, a hat. And I didn't just start by doing like collections like I am now. So now a collection for me is probably around 6 to 8 unique pieces and then 2 to 3 colorways of each piece. At least for the spring, that's what it is.
So what's the next big thing in streetwear?
I mean, it seems like the next kind of big, I mean, you can argue that it's a big thing now. Kind of these streetwear brands. That's what I call them.
Anti-social, social club.
No, they're not. I mean, it sounds the same, but they're not necessarily an anti-streetwear brand. But if you think of like Fuck the Population, that's who I automatically think of, because they're probably the most recognized anti-social or anti-streetwear brand. And these are brands that are kind of underground, that are kind of rebelling against the streetwear industry right now that's very saturated and very sold out, where they're putting their stuff in every PacSun, every Zoomies, department stores. And streetwear used to be like the kind of thing where it was very exclusive. Every brand, Stuzy, the Hundreds, those were all exclusive. And if you were wearing it, you knew, like, people would recognize you and be like, oh shit, like he's on. But now you can go to any mall and you can see any kid wearing it. Like Diamond, Diamond's not cool now because they sold into all the malls.
But don't you think some brands are forced to do that? Because I remember on Twitter, Greg Mishka NYC, he was tweeting some things about his brand basically like dying out.
I mean, I don't think any brand has to do it necessarily, but I think I see the appeal to a lot of brands. I mean, that's a lot of money in your pocket. And that's why, you see Jerry Lorenzo doing a whole line with PacSun. And that's why you see Yeezus merch in PacSun, Didn't
PacSun recently go bankrupt or something?
Yeah, and they were bailed out the next day by 2 big banks, I believe.
Yeah. Somebody asked, how do you make sure your logistics are in order for your brand?
Logistics in regards to like order fulfillment?
Yeah.
I mean, depending on like, so me personally, I've been using Wix for the fall collection, and I think I switched over to Wix a little before. But regardless of what you're using, Squarespace, Shopify, Big Cartel, Wix, or WordPress with a plugin, you get an email every time you get an order in, and then you have something that's with Squarespace, for an example. You have all your orders, and you can mark orders fulfilled and do the tracking numbers, so you can really stay on top of it. And if your brand's getting a ton of orders, you just have to stay like super disciplined. So with me, I'm still in high school, so if I just released a collection and let's say the first day I get 100 orders, I might not be able to ship out 100 orders that following Monday, but I know that if I do 20 orders a day, that by the end of the week everybody's gonna have their stuff on the way to them.
The same guy actually shipped. Wait, go ahead.
I think it's just like a matter of staying really disciplined. Set reminders in your phone if you're forgetful, stuff like that.
But I think you ship everything from your house, right? Because somebody asked, do you ship from your manufacturer or have an office?
No, I ship from my house. When I get a collection in, my whole house is like a fucking warehouse. Like, my mom gets so pissed off. I have boxes on the kitchen table, dining room table. The couches have clothes all over them. It gets super messy. No, I would never have my manufacturer distribute for me just because I like, checking each piece when it comes in, and you might have a few flawed pieces if you're doing a large order. So it's good to try to catch them if you can. Especially also because I'm manufacturing overseas. I think there's a lot better options if you're manufacturing in the States for distribution. But also, I don't really think I'm at the level yet where it makes sense to pay the extra couple bucks per package for distribution.
When a package gets lost, how do you handle that though?
When it gets lost?
Yeah, you have to fully reimburse the buyer.
Well, luckily, knock on wood, I don't think I've had any packages lost. You can, especially with clothes. So if you use the United States Postal Service on priority mail, you have up to $50 of insurance for free. So whether you're shipping a product that's $20 or, if you're shipping anything under $50, mark the insurance for $50. So then if it gets lost, they'll pay $50 and you can replace, your customer's package and you'll get in that $50. So it's not that big of a deal. If you're shipping out an order that's worth a ton of money and you're a small brand and you're worried that someone's going to charge back or whatever, just put signature confirmation on it. Yeah, but definitely insurance covers you with that.
What brands do you think are really popping right now?
I mean, like popping for me or like popping to other to the majority of people.
The majority, I guess.
Palace has really taken off recently. Like a year ago, if you think of like P hats, arguably their, most hyped piece that they put out every season. I remember actually even over the summer when they did their Palace International release, the hat sat online for close to half an hour before selling out. And now, I mean, people have bots for it. I mean, it's insane. There's pieces that, like the VHS trousers from, I guess that would have been their spring release. I mean, that's a really hard piece to pull off, really hard. And it sold out in every size besides 36 in the US. Yeah.
Do you think Supreme still has the traction that it used to have? I think it always will have it. It always will.
It won't always have it. I mean, in my opinion, but it definitely does right now. I mean, everything dies out at some point. They've had a long run, and I'm sure they'll have a longer run. But there's going to be the next big thing. Think of Bape. I mean, with the exception of Japan, if you think of Bape in New York, with the exception of a few collaborations, they release products every Saturday, and you might see 5 people in front of their store. Maybe. If not, you see nobody in front of their store. Bape is dead in the States. But in Japan, they still have, hundreds of people lining up.
But I think the good thing about Supreme is like the type of collaborations that they do. I don't think a lot of other brands are able to do those type of things.
Yeah, they do a lot of big collaborations, and they release collaborations very frequently. Yeah, I don't know.
What's a spring essential for men's streetwear? Spring essential? I think a nice pair of sneakers, like runners for the spring. Because you want to be comfortable, but you also want something that's breathable. And Adidas is definitely bringing products that mix both of those as well, right?
Yeah, I've been wearing the same pair of Ultra Boosts like almost every day, and it's a great shoe. One, because of the boost, and also it's just super breathable. So I think, yeah, I agree with you on that. I think for me, at least for like spring, summer, I like having just like a lot of essential shirts without designs on them that are super cheap. You can get like 3 packs or 5 packs on like Azos, just like soft cotton shirts, because you sweat a lot. It's good to have like an extra shirt in your bag or whatever, so you can just like swap it out.
A white tee is essential for summer, of course.
Yeah, white tee is always essential.
You guys have any more questions? It could be random stuff about YouTube or running the brand or anything. What's your ideal outfit though?
Like for spring, summer?
Well, any situation, what would you feel most comfortable wearing?
Most comfortable. I always wear a hoodie. I wear like the black thermal hoodie that I released, I don't know, a couple months ago. I wear that literally every single day. It's just comfortable. That and some cool pants. I don't know. I like cool pants now, like pants with weird designs on them. It's like my thing. A hoodie, some cool pants, and like a comfy shoe, Ultra Boost or some Jordan 1s, I guess.
You think
But
Jordan is
definitely a
still
hoodie. A
relevant?
hoodie's a must. I wear a hoodie everywhere.
Is Jordan still relevant? You think?
Yeah. Look, I was wearing these today. Jordan's definitely relevant.
For me, it just happened to be a comfortable sneaker because I walk so much and like at work, I'm always on my feet, and I have a wide foot, so certain shoes I can't wear.
Yeah, same here.
Comments and questions. Everybody keeps asking about Rosie. He couldn't make it. You were talking earlier about going to Japan for inspiration on your brand. So how
Yeah.
did you schedule that trip?
Expedia or something.
What are you gonna do? Like just explore the cities or what?
So I have a lot of friends that have either lived in Japan at some point or currently, or visited there. So I've pretty much been stacking up a guide of a lot of stores, restaurants, places to visit, and stuff like that. I'm staying right in Shibuya, which is kind of like the streetwear capital of Japan. Um, and there's a lot of people out there that I'm gonna meet and stuff like that. But I've always wanted to go to Japan, even before I was into clothing, like just for several different reasons. And kind of as I've evolved, the reasons have evolved. But I've been wanting to go. That's like the only place I've really, really, really been wanting to go. So when the opportunity came up that I could go to Japan in July, I of course took it. And it should be sick. I'm really, really excited.
Do you still have the Wi-Fi jackets left? Somebody said they really liked it.
Yeah, I definitely have some. Whatever's available on the website, I have in stock. I believe every size. I think I still have a couple of every size actually in that jacket.
If any of you wear size small, tweet me on Twitter. Just tweet Wi-Fi jacket and I'll send it to you. I have the extra one.
Hashtag giveaway. But size up.
Is it weird to wear button-down shirts over a sweatshirt? As long as it's a flannel, I think it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I do flannel over the hoodie sometimes. Cause like especially with the shirt with like a cool pattern, you want to show the pattern off. But if it's too, cold to just wear the shirt, then you want to put something under, and a hoodie is a perfect option.
As long as it's not a dress shirt, it's kind of weird.
Start a trend.
Favorite brands or places or pieces, I mean.
Personally,
Yeah.
I like Palace just because of their product descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
They're hilarious. If you've never read them, go on the Palace site and read some product descriptions. You'll be really entertained. I don't know. Palace puts out a couple really cool pieces, like the VHS trousers. I like Cav Empt. I like Honorable Mention. What else? Trying to think.
Yo, I'm trying to get a pair of Visums for the low.
They wear out so quick. I don't know.
I know, like the sole is really thin. I've seen like from the pictures.
They don't even come in my size, so.
Flannels will never be oversaturated. That's like the essential thing. Timeless piece.
Oh, an essential piece is a hoodie. I love hoodies. I don't know what it is. I have more hoodies than I do socks.
So could you tell us about what is your next piece or your next big piece for the brand?
Um, yeah, so in the next collection, there's, I want to say like 3 really standout pieces. My favorite is it's a lightweight herringbone wool jacket. And pretty much we could only source the material in black, so the factory took all the dye out of the black and then re-dyed it kind of a navy blue. It's a little lighter than a navy. And then gold hardware. It's cut like a work jacket, so it has a collar, and it has a sick design embroidered on the back, really big. But I don't want to like give away, you know, I'm not gonna show the design. That jacket's really sick just because of that the lightweight herringbone wool. I think that's one of probably my favorite material I've ever used. There's a pair of shorts I really like. It's a custom cotton jacquard knit. That's a mouthful. But it's a really cool.
Is it heavier weight? Is it heavier weight? Because I know jacquard is like really thin. That might be a problem.
No, it's a pretty heavy weight. I tried to get it as close. There's another pair of shorts that are made of French terry that I'm releasing. And I tried to get the weight as close as possible. So because they're the same exact cut, it's just one uses the custom material and one uses French terry dyed a color that won't be named. But yeah, those shorts are gonna be sick. I'm really hyped on those. And then there's a second jacket in the collection, the lightweight jacket that'll be pretty dope. What else?
The homie Cooper just asked any great sunglasses brands. What's the brand that makes those Cobain glasses?
I mean, like Supreme did. I don't know. I don't wear sunglasses, so I can't really speak on it. Yeah, I can't really speak on it. I don't wear sunglasses.
What do you think your statement piece for summer is going to be?
Say it again.
What do you think your statement piece for summer? For spring and summer?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to get like a statement piece for spring or summer. I feel like probably one of my own pieces. I don't know.
A lot of people think yellow is going to be that color.
Yellow?
Yeah, the in color.
I think pastel pink will do it again. A lot of pastel colors, not just pink, but like pastel blue, like all the lighter pastels.
Wasn't that what happened last summer as well? That was last year's trend, I think.
Yeah, I think it'll carry over.
A good place to shop for men's streetwear. It's not too expensive, but the price is just right or cheap.
Azos.
Yeah. I used to buy hella stuff from them, but it falls apart. That's the thing.
Yeah, you have to be careful with Azos. Uniqlo. That cause collaboration that Uniqlo is coming out with later this week is sick. $15 cause tees. They're sick. Every single Uniqlo store in the US is getting it.
Do you think Floral's coming back? Somebody just mentioned it.
Floral?
I don't know.
No.
I think so. Shoes for summer with shorts. Definitely go low tops. Anything.
Ultra Boost. Tubulars. Like the new tubular radials look a lot better than the original tubulars, and the sole's different, so it lasts a little longer. Actually, even tubular dooms might be kind of a better high top option with shorts. Depending on what shoe size you are, you can also pull off like, you know, Jordan 1s. Jordan 1s are just Jordan 1s are a great shoe.
You said the tubulars, they put a different sole on it, because the pair that I have is really
yeah, the more recent tubulars, like the tubular doom and the tubular radial, They use a different material for the sole that's a lot better. And the price point's still pretty good on them, I think. Yeah, the first tubular that came out was horrible. It was so comfortable, but wore out so fast. And there's no traction.
Those are the shoes that I beat up every day. Like I have an all black pair.
Mm-hmm.
They're really good. So, you know if the white Ultra Boosts are re-releasing anytime soon?
They're coming out with a updated version of the all-white Ultra Boost that actually uses a prime knit upper instead of a mesh upper. Adidas is dropping a ton of stuff in the US in May. Like May is going to be a huge month. Like all the releases that have been happening overseas recently, like the prime knit NMDs and stuff like that, those all drop in the US in May. Like the City Pack NMDs, the City Socks or whatever, those are in May in the US. There's no date for the prime knit Ultra Boost, but they're on the way. I believe this spring, summer. There's pictures of them. Google it.
What's the price point for those?
I'm assuming it'll stay the same. 180.
You think that's a decent price for the like all the technology that goes into these type of shoes?
I mean, you can only really compare it to comparable shoes, I guess. I mean, think of like Yeezys. Retails $200. Compare it to like a Y3 Casa, which is 400 retail, but you can find it, less than retail almost everywhere. Yeah, I guess it's the right price point. Oh yeah, side note. If you own a pair of mesh NMDs, the prime knit ones feel 10 times better. Just throwing that out there.
Somebody wants to know where can they get quality scoop MTs for $21. You ever heard of the brand Killian?
Yeah.
That's probably where you get that.
Yeah, there's a bunch. That's an easy Google search. I don't know how you say the brand, but the EPTM, they do a lot of cheap stuff. Elwood. You can actually get scoop MTs from like Top Man or Azos, any of those. Everyone has scoop MTs. H&M probably has scoop MTs.
We were just talking about how elongated stuff is going out of style. Somebody commented they're all done.
Yeah, I like oversized stuff, but I don't really like elongated stuff. I had like a tiny elongated phase, but it didn't last long.
I have this hoodie. It's super long, and I barely wear it anymore. I don't know. I can't really style it that much.
That's some like fashion goth shit.
That used to be cool like 2 years ago.
I just found the link you sent me to view the comments. I haven't seen them this whole time.
Long shirts are gross. What are your thoughts about H&M? It's a great resource to get the essential basic pieces, but if you want to get more quality stuff, I probably wouldn't recommend it.
I'd only ever get into a generic piece from H&M, like a piece that it's like a piece that you can walk down the street and nobody's going to be like, oh, that's H&M, not some shit with like side zips on it or, the twill joggers everybody's been wearing. I wouldn't wear anything like that. But if it's like a white t-shirt, why wouldn't I get it from H&M?
But those twill joggers really sold out, and it gave a lot of people access to that fear of God look without spending that much money on it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's not my look. I don't know.
Somebody had a question about the Wi-Fi jacket. Does the 3M come off in the wash easily?
No, but I'd probably go get it dry cleaned. It's 3M screen print, so it's printed just like any of your screen print tees, and pretty much there's these microscopic beads mixed in with the ink, and that's what reflects. Um, yeah.
Was it expensive to get that type of thing made?
3M's always a lot more expensive than normal ink. Yeah. Another route you can go is like 3M vinyl, but that's also pretty expensive. Especially like with 3M vinyl, you have to make sure it's like the legit like 3M vinyl, or else it doesn't glow as much. I'm trying to think. Like my first piece, that Luca modeled a long time ago, the hockey jersey that was 3M, that was 3M vinyl. If people want like a reference.
Did you read his newspaper article in the New York Times?
No, someone like sent me a picture of it or something. I didn't. It's too long. I don't want to read it.
It was really long. Like the person was basically asking basic, simple questions, and he came off as like a normal kid, you know, not on some stuck-up high fashion model type thing.
I don't know. I'm not really close to him anymore, so I don't want to like talk about it that much. I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of social media kids. I'm good friends with Mike, but that's like probably the only person over like 8,000 followers that I'm genuine friends with.
You think their stardom will last?
That what's gonna last?
Their stardom.
No. I mean, do you think that, you know, Luca's gonna be some 40-year-old with 2 kids, like still posting outfit pics? No, definitely not. With some of them, you've already seen people die out. I mean,
That's if they don't take advantage of it. If they don't take advantage of the opportunity and the connections that they can get.
They will gain enough connections that if they're smart, they'll be able to, you know, they won't be famous necessarily, but they'll get a job, you know, at an ad agency, or, you know, they know social media, so they can get hired by, you know, someone to manage a big company social media account, or run an ad agency, or, you know, brand management. There's a lot of things. But no, they're not going to be like, I don't know how to put it. Like, think of like Soulja Boy now. Like, there was a time where Soulja Boy was a god. I mean, like when Crank That came out, stuff like that. I remember when I saw Soulja Boy at Agenda Long Beach last year, not many people recognized him. I mean, obviously a few people ran up taking pictures, but it wasn't like a big deal. He didn't need security or anything. It'll be like that. Like a few people be like, oh, that's Ian. He's an old man now. But it won't be like when I was at the Life of Pablo pop-up and people are chanting his name as he walked down the street. Pff, it's insane.
Should I sell my Yeezys for cool? You think it's good to hold on to, like if you have a piece and you know it's worth a lot of money, would you cash out on it or do you hold on to it?
I mean, personally, I tend to cash out on it. I don't know. I mean, that's up to you. What's more value, one pair of shoes or a bunch of clothes? I don't know. It's up to you. I don't know. I don't know how much you paid for your Yeezys. You know, if you paid 200, I'll give you a sense. The black 750s came out, and I somehow got a size 7 for retail. Size 7 obviously going for more than the average size. And originally, when that shoe dropped, I said I was going to get my own size. So I got the size 7, and I was like, all right, I'm going to swap it for a 13, and I'm going to get a 13 and a little bit of cash on top, and then I'm going to wear the 13. When I started getting offers for that 7, that idea went right out the door. Like, it just wasn't worth it to me, you know? So it depends how much it's worth to you, I guess.
Do you do earrings and chains? I was actually thinking of getting my ear pierced, like one hoop.
Really?
I don't know though.
I do the casual chain, but it's only if I'm like, if one of my friends like has a show. Like I'm friends with a lot of rappers, so if one of them like has a show and I'm like, you know, backstage or whatever, and I'm like trying to flex. I don't know. Then I'll wear a chain, but I won't like go to school with a chain. I don't know. It looks kind of corny on me, I guess.
Yeah, I can't wear it out. Like I always wear it underneath the t-shirt.
Yeah, I feel like I get kind of self-conscious when I wear a chain.
Do you know any brands that make jewelry, like streetwear brands?
Uh,
You ever heard of Mister?
well, 424 makes a lot of jewelry. I mean, that's kind of a high price point, but 424 makes some dope chains. I'm about to pull up a company that makes more. I forget the name of them, but I'll be able to find it. That makes more like affordable jewelry that's decent quality. All right, designed by TSS. They make like, you know, generic stuff that everybody kind of gets, like Jesus pieces, stuff like that, but for a more affordable price point. And they're local to me. That's why I know about them. Yeah, I don't know.
They're local in New Jersey.
Yeah, they're from New Jersey. I think they're from Essex County.
Would you ever think about getting a gold girl or silver?
All right, here's my personal opinion regarding gold or silver. White people look better with silver or white gold. Black people look better with gold. So if I were ever to get a girl, I would get silver or white gold because, in my opinion, that looks better. Would I get a girl? No, I wouldn't get a full girl. I'd get like one tooth as a joke.
Like, I was talking to this older guy. He was telling me about his birthday was in a couple of days, and he had some gold fronts in his tooth.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "If you want to take these out of my mouth, you have to knock my teeth out because they're permanent." So it's crazy.
Yeah, back in the days of like, man, what's his name? Like Paul Wall. They all have permanent grills, like Lil Wayne, Paul Wall. I feel like I'd lose them.
Too much responsibility for me.
Facts. And I feel like additionally, like jewelry wise, like if you're gonna buy like legit jewelry, I feel like investment wise, like getting a chain's a lot better investment than grills because like you can't resell your grills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't get any of your money back on grills. Nobody wants your used grills that don't fit their teeth. But like if you get a dope chain made, you know, someone's probably gonna want it.
You guys have any more questions? There you go. What about Mexicans and silver and gold?
Wait. Let me think. I'd probably go gold. I feel like any like darker skin tone looks better with gold, personally. And then a lighter skin tone looks better towards silver. But
like, I think gold is kind of getting played out though.
well, like getting super flexy with like a ton of chains and girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone has their thing.
How do you, when you select your models, how do you find them? Just on Facebook? Or
so with a lot of my lookbooks, like I'll go through. All right, my first time I ever did like a little lookbook, it was with Luca and Walter Pierce, who is like a Hood by Air model and stuff. And that was just like, at the time I was good friends with Luca. So Luca was just like, yeah, I'll do it. And then Walter just showed up randomly. Like it wasn't even a plan. He like came with someone else that was like hanging out. I forget. So that just like worked out. After that was the last year's fall winter. I think I got all those models off Facebook. Yeah.
One of them was from the luxury fashion group, right? Just one guy.
Two of them I knew like somewhat personally. Like I've talked to them before. That's Yannick and Max. And then the other ones, I think I just talked to on Facebook. I made a post saying looking for models or whatever. Then I had the lookbook with Wyatt Winfrey and Black Dave, and I think I posted on Facebook for that and found Wyatt and met him in person. And then I was looking for someone with like that was like recognized. So it was actually going to be Ken Rebel, and then he had I was shooting the lookbook the same day Ken Rebel did the Underwater Squad video shoot. So then like last minute, like that came up, so he couldn't do it. So then we hit up Black Dave, who was with it. So that's how that came about. And then my fall winter, like the most recent lookbook, those are my friends that model, Eric and Yannick, and they just I thought they'd look really good in the pieces.
That's going off in the comments. Guys, how do you know so much about the fashion industry?
So let's see. I mean, I started my brand in 8th grade, and that was kind of like my first like way in, and I was just really good at networking and stuff like that. Like I was going to the trade shows, like then I forget exactly when it was. My freshman year of high school, I started my own blog that doesn't exist anymore, called Street Aesthetic, and that actually got me a job at slamxhype.com with which went bankrupt recently. I worked for SlamX Hype for a little while as a writer. So with SlamX Hype, they're under a cloud company, or they were under a cloud company called The Collective, which was owned by the guy who co-founded Echo Unlimited with Mark Echo. And The Collective managed A-Life, 40 Ounce, Wu-Tang Brand, Rocksmith, and a couple others. So I was in those offices like a couple times a week. So I just learned a ton and got a ton of connections because of that. I was doing some freelance work with like Wu-Tang and Rocksmith here and there. And I was writing a ton of stories, just doing a ton of research. And that kind of helped me learn the kind of like PR side of fashion. I also learned a lot from, I used to help out at a store in Bloomfield, New Jersey called Stronghold Shop. And the owner of Stronghold Shop, Mike, taught me a lot about the retail side. And then from like trial and error, I've learned a lot about manufacturing and stuff like that. But I've done a lot of freelance stuff. I wrote for Modern Notoriety for a short period of time. A lot of people know about Modern Notoriety. I was going to like a ton of events, like trade shows and I don't know, stuff like that. If they're asking about like connections specifically, that's just, I mean, I live in New Jersey. I used to go to the city all the time, and I was just constantly networking. And you'd be surprised who you meet.
When we went to Agenda last year, it was kind of crazy because I've never expected to meet all of these brand owners. That like these are the guys who make the clothing that I wear, and I was it was kind of nervous too. I was nervous a little bit. Yeah,
it's sick. Like I remember when I went to Agenda Long Beach, I was out there doing work for SlamX Hype, but I met Nicky Diamonds for the first time and like, you know, talked to him a ton about the brand and stuff like that. And then I met up with him when he went to New York, like a month or two later or something. And like, you know, it's cool making connections like that. You never expect someone that owns, you know, numbers wise, arguably the most successful streetwear brand in the world. Like I said, numbers wise, you know, to talk to me like any other person and to give me advice and, you know, to say I can send him samples and he'll give me honest feedback and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of crazy. You have to put yourself out there and just treat everyone like they're your peer. Don't put anyone above you. You know, if you're meeting a celebrity, chances are if you treat them like you're a fan, they're going to treat you like a fan, you know? Yeah. So you can't expect to get anywhere, but if you know, if you treat them like a peer, like you're, you know, like they're a normal person, because they are, then they're going to treat you like a normal person.
I feel like the brand owners are more cooler than the employees, because I remember when I went to Agenda and I was trying to talk to Jeff Staple. Like he was way cooler than trying to, like, going direct to somebody is way better than trying to go up the ladder, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. That's one of my pet peeves. Like I hate like stores where like they think it's like, I mean, and it's weird that people support them so much, like Kith or Supreme, where like the employees for the most part just treat everyone like they're a douchebag to everyone, and like people like put a cool factor on that, I guess. But like, I don't know. Regardless of how hyped your stuff is, I think the customer should always come first. I mean, that's like Antisocial Social Club. They were taking fucking months to send people's packages out, and they were pretty much saying, "Hey, look, you know, we blessed you with this hoodie, so you can wait." I mean, it's like, come on now.
All this stuff is made on Velvet tees, right? That's what I read.
I think their camo hoodie they just put out was the first piece they did that was not just printed on a blank.
Somebody asked, what are your thoughts on Below? There's a lot of drama going on with that brand right now, actually.
I like V-Lone simply because like I'm friends with or connected to a lot of the people that are a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I had the original V-Lone hoodie I got one at the Rave Riot video shoot in New York. That was my 8th grade or freshman year. I can't remember. But I'm close with some of the people in ASAP Mob, and I don't know. I support it. I have some stuff coming in tomorrow from the LA pop up. So yeah, I fuck with V-Lone.
Somebody asked, will Supreme's hype ever die down, or is it a staple to the industry? Like we said earlier, it's going to be a staple.
Yeah, it'll die out.
You think it's going to die out?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard comparison, but there's a lot of like streetwear brands that have had like really good cult followings over the years. Not necessarily as big as Supreme's, but I mean, there's so many brands that don't get the like W Taps or, you know, Ivizu, you know.
Yeah.
I can only name Japanese brands right now, I guess, but you get the point.
But Misha is also an example of what you're talking about. Like, it had a really, really big following.
Any of those brands like that, but the difference between them and Supreme is that they, you know, went into the malls.
Yeah.
So the cool factor wasn't there anymore. You know, with Supreme, if they keep it in their own stores, Dover Street Market and online only, there's still going to be a cool factor because, you know, you had to go through something to get it, and you don't see every single person with it. And it's not like everybody can, you know, purchase it or afford it. So that's kind of like, there's the cool factor, but I don't know. I don't think I'll be like a grandfather and still see kids wearing Supreme and hypebeasting over it. There's no way.
Dover Street Market is like the retailer for different brands, right?
Yeah, Dover Street Market carries a bunch of stuff. That's the only retailer outside of Supreme that stocks Supreme. But it's just Dover Street Market, New York, and I think one in Japan. Yeah, they stock a bunch of. Recently, they've been trying to appeal to more of like a underground streetwear. Like they did a exclusive capsule with Antisocial Social Club, and then they've been carrying like I think they carried Bronze 56K actually, and
oh, that's the brand with like the B and like the old Windows logo, I think.
Yeah, it was just like a skate brand, and then it got hyped out of nowhere, kind of like Palace did, I guess.
Someone wants to know, how old are you?
17.
Right. You think we could wrap it up?
Yeah, whenever.
You guys have any immediate questions, just throw them right now. All right. All right, that's about it. Just shout out your social medias and where people can find you and your brand.
Yeah, so I don't really post on my personal social media that much, but it's the Zack Fryer, ZACKFRYER on Twitter and Instagram, and then I'll pick back up the brand page soon, which is now Ineffable, INEFFABLE_co on both Instagram and Twitter, and then I run at Streetwear Plug on Twitter and on Facebook if you search Streetwear Plug. Yeah, that's all of them, I think.
All right. Yo, shout out to everybody who came through and watched and interacted with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys for always supporting, and I'll see you guys next time on the next stream.